A man slammed hard against the cage, blood spraying from his mouth as the crowd roared. "Finish him!" someone screamed. Chioma didn't hesitate. She stepped forward, fast and precise, ducked his desperate swing, and drove her elbow straight into his jaw. The crack echoed. His body dropped instantly. Silence hit for half a second. Then the underground arena exploded. Money flew. People shouted. Bets were settled in chaos. Chioma stood still in the center of the ring, chest rising, eyes cold, not even looking at the man she had just destroyed. She turned and walked away. No celebration, no smile, just purpose. If you love intense stories like this, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment right now, because this story only gets crazier from here. Up in the VIP section, a man leaned forward for the first time that night. He hadn't reacted to any fight before this. Not the knockouts, not the blood, not the screaming. But her? That was different. "Who is she?" he asked quietly. No one answered immediately. His right-hand man cleared his throat. "They call her Nyx." No background, no records. She just appeared. The boss's eyes narrowed slightly as Chioma disappeared through the fighter's exit. "She didn't fight like a street brawler," he said. "No, sir. She fought like someone trained." A pause. "Find out who she is." Backstage, the noise faded into a dull echo. Chioma pushed open the locker room door, her knuckles bruised, her breathing finally slowing. She walked straight to her bag, ignored the other fighters staring at her, and sat down. A man with a swollen face whispered to another, "That's her. That's the African girl." "She's not normal," the other replied. Chioma unwrapped her hands calmly, like she didn't hear them. But she heard everything. She always did. A promoter rushed in, grinning nervously. "That was incredible. Crowd loved you. You're getting bigger every night." She didn't look up. "My money." "Yeah, of course." He quickly handed over a thick envelope. She took it, opened it, counted without emotion. "Short," she said. The man blinked. "What?" 300,001 short. His smile faded. "You must have." She looked up. That was all it took. The temperature in the room dropped. "I don't make mistakes," she said quietly. The promoter swallowed hard, quickly pulling out extra cash. "My bad. Counting error." She took it, stood, and zipped her bag. No argument. No wasted time. Just control. As she turned to leave, the locker room door opened again. This time, the entire room went still. Men straightened. Conversations died. Chioma didn't need to look to know someone important had entered. But she did anyway. He walked in like he owned the air. Tall, calm, expensive without trying. The same man from the VIP section. The boss. Their eyes met. For a brief second, nothing else existed. He studied her, not like a man admiring beauty, but like a man analyzing a weapon. "You fight like someone with nothing to lose," he said. His voice was low, controlled. Chioma went back to packing her bag. "I have everything to lose," she replied. Her tone was flat. "That's why I win." A flicker of interest crossed his face. He stepped closer. "You're not from here." "No. Yet you've made quite a name in a short time." She slung her bag over her shoulder. "Is that a problem?" A faint smile touched his lips. "Not at all." He tilted his head slightly. "I could use someone like you." Chioma finally looked at him properly. "What kind of use?" "A better one than this," he said, gesturing around the dirty locker room. "You're wasting your skills in cages like this." She held his gaze. "And what makes you think I'm looking to be used?" The tension sharpened. The men in the room shifted uncomfortably. Nobody spoke to him like that. Nobody. But instead of anger, something else appeared in his eyes. Respect. "Because," he said slowly, "people like you don't fight for crowds. You fight for a reason." A pause. "I'm offering you a chance to get closer to whatever that reason is." Chioma didn't respond immediately. Her face revealed nothing. But inside, her mind was already moving. Calculating. This was it. The door she had been waiting for. She stepped past him. "I'm not interested," she said, and walked out. The entire room froze again. The boss didn't turn, didn't call her back, but his expression had changed. "She'll come," he said quietly. Outside, the cold Itaewon night hit her face. Chioma walked fast, blending into the crowd of foreigners, neon lights reflecting in her eyes. Her phone buzzed. She stopped in a quiet alley and answered. Talk, she said. A distorted voice came through. You made contact? Yes. And? He's interested. Good. That means you're close. Chioma's jaw tightened. Not close enough, she said. There was a pause. Then the voice softened slightly. Chioma, you've done more than anyone else could. We can pull you out if. No. Her voice cut sharp. I'm not leaving. A beat. Not without her. Silence. Then, we still don't know if your sister is alive. Chioma closed her eyes briefly, then opened them again. Cold. She is, she said. She has to be. Flash. A memory hit. Her sister laughing. Running through sunlight. Uni, I'll be fine. Korea is different. Better. Then nothing. Gone. Chioma exhaled slowly. I'm ending this, she said. Soon. She hung up. Across the street, a black car sat parked. Inside, the boss watched her through tinted glass. She's not ordinary, his right-hand man said. No, he replied. She's dangerous. The boss leaned back slightly, still watching her disappear into the crowd. Good, he said. I was getting bored. And for the first time in a long time. He smiled. Chioma didn't go home. She never did after a fight. Routine kept her alive. She moved through the crowded streets of Itaewon, switching directions twice, blending into a group of tourists, then slipping out again. Neon lights flickered over her face as music thumped from nearby clubs, but her eyes stayed sharp, scanning reflections, shadows, movement. Someone was following her. She didn't turn. Instead, she slowed slightly, letting the distance close. A figure stepped into the same narrow street behind her. Too close. Too confident. Chioma's grip tightened on the strap of her bag. She turned suddenly. The man barely had time to react before her fist slammed into his throat. He choked, stumbling back, but she didn't stop. She grabbed his arm, twisted hard, and drove her knee into his ribs. A crack. He dropped to one knee, gasping. Who sent you? She asked, voice low, controlled. I know, wait. Wrong answer. She slammed him against the wall, forearm pressing into his neck. Last chance. His eyes widened in panic. I'm just a scout. I swear. For who? He hesitated. Chioma tightened the pressure. Black Vipers, he blurted. They've been watching you fight. Her expression didn't change. Why? They think you're valuable. That's all I know. She studied him for a second longer, then released him. He collapsed to the ground, coughing violently. Disappear, she said. He didn't need to be told twice. He scrambled up and ran. Chioma stood there for a moment, processing. Black Vipers. That name again. Too many connections leading to the same place. Too close. Her phone buzzed again. She didn't need to check to know who it was. She answered. You're getting attention, the voice said immediately. I know. Then you need to slow down. You're exposing yourself. Chioma started walking again, her pace steady. I don't have time to slow down. You don't have time to get killed either. She stopped under a flickering streetlight. They're watching me, she said. That means I'm getting closer. Or walking into a trap. Same thing. A sharp exhale came through the line. Chioma, listen to me. If the Black Vipers are involved, this is bigger than we thought. We need backup. No. Her tone was final. No backup. No interference. Why are you being so? Because every second we wait. Her voice dropped slightly. She's out there. Silence followed. Heavy. Then, quietly. You're not thinking like an agent anymore. Chioma's eyes hardened. I'm not an agent. She ended the call. Across the city, inside a dimly lit room, the Mafia boss stood by a large window overlooking Seoul's glowing skyline. His right-hand man entered. We found something. The boss didn't turn. Talk. The girl? Chioma. That got his attention. He slowly faced him. You have a name now. Yes. And more than that. A file was placed on the table. Her identity is buried deep. Almost erased. But not perfectly. The boss walked over, flipping it open. His eyes scanned quickly, then stopped. His expression shifted, just slightly. Former intelligence operative? He murmured. Yes, sir. Silence stretched. Then a quiet chuckle escaped him. So I was right. His gaze darkened. She's not just dangerous, she's hunting. His right-hand man hesitated. There's more. The boss looked up. Her sister, the man continued. Missing. Last known connection. Black vipers. The room went still. For a moment, nothing moved. Then the boss closed the file slowly. Everything clicked. Send someone to bring her in, he said. Alive. Back in Itaewon, Chioma entered a small, run-down apartment building. She climbed the stairs quietly, every step measured, every sound noted. When she reached her door, she paused. Something was off. The lock, barely noticeable, but wrong. Her eyes sharpened. She didn't open it immediately. Instead, she stepped back, then kicked the door open hard. It slammed against the wall. She moved in instantly, low and fast. A man lunged from the side. She caught his wrist mid-strike, twisted, and slammed him face first into the table. Another came from behind. She spun, elbow crashing into his nose before he could grab her. Blood sprayed. The first man recovered, charging again. Chioma grabbed a chair and swung it hard. It shattered across his back. He dropped. The second man pulled a knife. Big mistake. She stepped inside his range before he could react, grabbed his wrist, and snapped it. The knife clattered to the floor. He screamed. She silenced him with a sharp strike to the throat. Both men collapsed, groaning. Chioma stood still, breathing controlled, eyes scanning. Clear. Too easy. That was the problem. She grabbed the knife and crouched beside one of them, pressing the blade lightly against his cheek. Who sent you? She asked. The man coughed, blood dripping from his nose. You're in deep trouble, he muttered. She pressed the blade harder. Wrong answer. His lips trembled. The boss, he wants to see you. Chioma froze. For the first time, something shifted. Which boss? She asked quietly. The man laughed weakly. There's only one. You're stupid enough to ignore. A slow realization crept in. This wasn't the Black Vipers. This was him. The Mafia boss. She stood slowly. So he knew. Or at least, he suspected. Her mind raced. Faster than ever. Options. Risks. Outcomes. Then, a slow smile touched her lips. Good, she whispered. The man frowned, confused. Good, he repeated. Chioma grabbed her jacket. Tell him I'm coming. She walked out, leaving both men on the floor. Hours later, a black car stopped in front of a private building. Chioma stepped out. No hesitation. No fear. The doors opened before she even reached them. Inside, the air felt different. Cleaner. Controlled. Dangerous. She walked in. Men watched her from every corner. Some curious. Some hostile. None dared move. At the far end of the room, he sat. Waiting. The Mafia boss. Their eyes locked again. This time, there was no distance. No crowd. No distractions. Just truth, hovering between them. You came, he said calmly. Chioma stepped closer. You invited me. A faint smile appeared. I didn't expect you to accept. She tilted her head slightly. I don't like unanswered questions. A pause. Then she added, or threats. His eyes glinted. Good. Then we understand each other. Silence stretched. Tense. Heavy. Then, he leaned forward slightly. Tell me, Chioma. Her name hung in the air. Exposed. Should I be impressed? He continued slowly. Or should I kill you now for lying to me from the beginning? The room went deadly quiet. Every man in there waited. Watched. One wrong move. And she was dead. Chioma didn't flinch. Didn't blink. Instead, she stepped even closer. Right into danger. If you wanted me dead, she said softly, I wouldn't have made it past the door. A flicker of something passed through his eyes. Respect. Dangerous respect. Then, he said something that changed everything. I know who you're looking for. Chioma's heart stopped. Just for a second. Your sister, he finished. The world seemed to narrow. Focus sharpened. Danger multiplied. Where is she? Chioma asked. Her voice was calm, but her eyes burned. The boss leaned back slowly, watching her reaction, studying every detail. Then he spoke. One question first. A pause. Heavy. Deliberate. Are you here to kill me? His voice dropped slightly. Or to work with me? Silence. The kind that suffocates. Chioma stared at him. Mind racing. Heart steady. Everything leading to this moment. And then, before she could answer, a man burst into the room. Sir. Everyone turned sharply. The man was out of breath, panicked. They found her. Chioma's entire body went still. The boss's expression darkened. Who? He asked. The man swallowed hard. The girl. A beat. The sister. Everything froze. Chioma stepped forward instantly. Where is she? The man hesitated, looked at the boss, then back at her. His voice shook. They're moving her tonight. A sharp silence hit the room. Chioma's fists clenched. Her eyes locked onto the boss. This was it. No more waiting. No more games. But then, the man added one more sentence. And everything changed. And the Black Vipers aren't the ones holding her. A pause. A chilling one. They already sold her. Silence. Heavy. Deadly. Chioma's breath slowed. Too slow. Too controlled. Sold to who? She asked. The man hesitated, fear creeping into his face. Even the boss was watching closely now. Then, the answer came. Low. Terrifying. To someone. A beat. Even you don't want to cross. The room went completely still. Chioma's eyes darkened. The boss's expression hardened. Because they both understood one thing at the same time. This was bigger than both of them. Much bigger. And far more dangerous. If you made it this far, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Because episode 2 is where everything explodes. And trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next.